The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The NCR reproduction rate went down to 1.16 as a result of the 2-week enhanced community quarantine in Metro Manila and other nearby provinces. To tell us more about this, we have Faith Del Mundo. She's joining us live from Quezon City. Faith, will the R0 go below 1 in the next coming days?
Yes, Riza, the Octa Research Group reports that the reproduction rate in NCR decreased to 1.16. They are expecting the NCR R0 to decline further to less than 1 next week. In today's Laging Handa public briefing, Octa Research Dr. Butch Ong attributes the decline to the recently imposed ECQ in NCR plus areas. From around 15,000 daily cases infection, it went down to around 8,000 to 10,000 every day. But Ong warns that because of the less restrictive MECQ, cases could possibly increase in the coming days. Despite this, a reproduction rate of below 1 is still possibly by Thursday, as long as the public continues to follow health protocols and stay at home. A downward trend in cases was also seen in Pasay, Manila, Marikina, Taguig, and Mandaluyong. As the R0 decreases, the hospital care utilization rate remains at a critical level. ICU and COVID-19 wards are still in full capacity and more healthcare workers are needed. On the discrepancy in the COVID-19 data, Ong explained that they base their numbers on the data from the Health Department. But Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Berjera explained that they follow WHO's analysis and interpretation of data. The Octa research team and the DOH are set to meet to discuss the discrepancy. Risa, the DOH and the Octa research are urging the public to follow health protocols and MECQ guidelines to lower COVID-19 cases. Risa?
Thank you for that report. That's Faith Del Mundo reporting live from Quezon City. Now, the World Health Organization warns of yet another COVID-19 variant, this time emerging from India. WHO said the Indian B.1.617 variant is highly transmissible. Worse, this variant also has the potential to reduce neutralization of antibodies due to specific mutations that it contains. Health officials from India said the variant first appeared in their country in December last year. It has 2 specific mutations that have also been detected in more contagious variants worldwide. Though it's still considered is a variant of concern, B.1.617 is already spreading to other countries and has been reported across Asia and North America. No cases of the double mutant variant have officially been reported in the Philippines as of yet.
Having 2 of these mutations, which have been seen in other variants around the world, are concerning because there's a similarity in these mutations that confer increased transmissibility, for example, and some of these mutations also result in reduced neutralization, which may have an impact on our countermeasures, including the vaccines.
Filipinos are known for their bayanihan spirit or eagerness to help others in distress. Now, this prevailed even more during the pandemic. Gretchen Ho with the story.
Since August, many jeepney drivers are still out on the streets, not to drive, but to beg for alms. While their cries are usually ignored, there are some who reach out, like the group of Victory Fork with Pastor Paulo Punsalan.
Siguro mga almost 10 years na rin. We have this outreach among drivers. Nagsimula yan sa mga taxi and Grab.
They cater to about 100 families of jeepney drivers at about once a week.
How do you make sure, though, that everybody who goes out is protected and from the virus?
Ano yan, mga siguro 5 sila, 5 or 6. Tapos safety protocols and then face shield and face mask. Open spaces tayo ngayon, parking lots or sa gitna ng maluwag na lugar.
But what about those from far-flung places? The FEAS J. Hatap reaches out to those near mountains like Barangay San Carlos in Binangonan, Rizal.
Sila yung tinatag na sila na poorest of the poor, mga hindi nararating na ng relief operations ng government. So sila yung mga target talaga namin.
Since last year, the FEAS has helped about 7,000 families, local businesses, and workers. The aid comes in kind, sourced from local vendors and fisherfolk from Talim Island. To ensure safety, recipients line up on spaced out chairs.
So what we did this time around, we asked yung mga pagbibigyan, limited lang sila, 500 families lang.
But helping others does not mean that you have to go out of your homes. There are many ways, just like doing something you're good at. Like aspiring artist Sheila Brobio, a 42-year-old single mother of 2 from Albay. Sheila sells her paper portraits and leaf carvings, not for money, but to give reams of bond paper to their local school.
Grabe yung challenges ng mga teachers and parents for the learning modules. Wala sila daw bond paper para sa mga estudyante.
The relief goods she got were also handed out to at least 300 families affected by a series of typhoons last year. She even distributed anti-rape and anti-theft devices last Women's Month, as well as 6 solar street lights to her barangay.
I always wanted to contribute kahit papaano, even if in a very small way na makatulong, especially nanay din ako and I have kids. So nakaka-motivate yon dito sa barangay kasi parang nasa grassroots level ka, nakikita mo talaga yung sitwasyon nila. And I'm one of them too.
Gretchen Hall, we are One News.
Former Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio says the Philippines will make its move against China once Duterte's administration comes to an end in 2022. More of this on Bloomberg Markets Asia.
Associate Justice Antonio Carpio. Justice, good to have you with us. I'm just wondering, what's your own reading of the situation in the South China Sea? I mean, some say that the little fishing boats are just lining up.
Well, this is part of the strategy of China to take possession of the maritime zones in the West Philippine Sea and all over the South China Sea within the 9-dash line. So their massive presence in Julian Felipe Reef and in other areas is a prelude to their building in the future military installations in these selected areas. In the case of Julian Felipe Reef, it's very close to Mischief Reef, which is their biggest air and naval base in the Spratlys. So it's only 50 nautical miles from Mischief Reef. So they need to put up a military installation on Julian Felipe Reef to protect their air and naval base in the Mischief Reef.
How far is the Philippines prepared to go to defend its sovereignty? We know that the Philippines has sent jets to patrol the area, and some say that's a pretty risky move.
Well, we will defend our sovereignty and sovereign rights to the extent that we can in accordance with international law and our treaty alliances. We have a treaty with the U.S., Mutual Defense Treaty, and we will invoke the treaty when the time arises, when the need arises.
There have been some floundering attempts at working together with these other countries who were given this arbitral award. How can you make a more concrete and more concerted effort to leverage pressure on China?
Well, unfortunately, our president is not doing that, but we are waiting for the next administration. We can easily first join the freedom of navigation operations of the U.S. Second, conduct joint patrols with the U.S. in the West Philippine Sea. Third, conduct joint patrols with Malaysia and Vietnam on each other's EEZ so that we'll be telling China, the three countries, Vietnam, Malaysia, and the Philippines, will be telling China, we have our own EEZ in the South China Sea, and your 9-dash line cannot take that away from us. But we will do that in the next administration after May 2022.
Chinese automaker Geely is all set to enter the burgeoning electric vehicle market. The firm is now ready to take on tech giants like Tesla, Xiaomi, and Apple with its new electric car unit Zika. Bloomberg's Tom McKenzie took the car for a ride with Geely's president Andy Kong Hui-an. Let's watch this.
So we're going to sneak peek inside the factory that's going to be producing Geely's Zika model. Now, Geely, just for the context, is China's largest private automaker, and Zika is their new brand that they are positioning to take on the likes of Tesla, but also Xiaomi, who has its own electric vehicle plans, Huawei, potentially as well, Apple. It's an electric vehicle in the premium range. It's going to be priced around the $50,000 mark or so, and they're going to eventually be targeting the international market as well. They want to start shipping these cars to Europe by the end of 2022, and then they're looking at the US as well. We're inside their factory, heavily automated, and this is before they've started really ramping up production. They're just doing tests at this stage, and they will eventually be able to churn out up to 300,000 units a year. But their target in terms of production and units and shipments for 2022 is going to be about 50,000. So early stages, but this is very much Geely trying to position itself with this new brand to take on those upstarts, and they clearly see those upstarts as a significant challenge to their business model. We're going for a test drive with the boss, Zika CEO. What is the maximum? What's the maximum speed? So feeling a little dizzy because the CEO really floored it. We went up to 160 kilometers an hour. It gets from 0 to 100, he said, in 3.8 seconds. So this is a fast car, and it has some smart features to it as well. It's got 15 different cameras built into around the car. The handling is very good. He's very proud of that. So yeah, that's the Zika 001, ladies and gents. Now, they're still working on things like the software, and they're still working on a few of the additional elements, but this is aimed at the premium segment of the market, not just in China, but globally, and that's where they're positioning themselves. They want to be able to take on the likes of Tesla, the incumbent European and US auto companies that are pushing into this segment of the market as well, and that's what they're hoping to do with this.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 2 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.